Today I'm reflecting on Psalm 63. It's a psalm written by David in the wilderness. The wilderness is a very interesting place. It's a space that we cannot avoid as we journey in this world. Maybe you're in the wilderness now. You know, the wilderness is that space between where we have come from and where we're hoping to be. It's that space where the reality of life does not necessarily match the hope of what we want life to be. It is that space where God has made a promise to us and He has spoken a word, but where we are dwelling does not really seem to match that promise. That space where we wonder, God, where are you in this? Where are you in this? The wilderness. Oh, how long have I hated the wilderness? How we long for the promised land, whatever that promised land may be for you. But what I have come to learn in walking with God is that the promised land is the place where we come alive to Jesus. It is Jesus who makes life feel full. There were so many times where I have found myself, I've created this promised land in my head and I've said, when that happens, everything will be fine. But isn't it funny how a promised land can so quickly turn into yet another wilderness? How that place that you thought, oh, when I get there, it'll be fine. And then you get there and it's a wilderness. You're like, oh. And then you begin to long for the next promised land. And so I learned. It is Jesus who makes life feel full. So the wilderness can be the promised land if I can come alive to the presence of Jesus with me. And that is why my constant prayer for myself, for my family, for you, is that we come alive to the person of Jesus. Because when we can see Him, when we can know Him, when we can hold Him, everything feels different. The wilderness can still have living water. The wilderness can still have bread from heaven. The wilderness can still hold the fire of the presence of God. Perhaps this is what David discovers when he finds himself back in yet another wilderness of his life. Another reality that is very different from what he had hoped for. Perhaps this is what he discovers when he has discovered over the years as he pens the words to Psalm 63 and he cries out there, Lord, let me come alive to you here. Because when I do, even this wilderness can feel like the promised land. He says words like, oh God, I long for you in this empty land where there is no water, in this wilderness, in this space where things are far from what I desire them to be. It is not the water that he longs for. It's not the promised land that he longs for. It is his God. Because he goes on to say that it is the unfailing love of God. It is knowing God's love that is better than life itself. In his wilderness, David doesn't focus on getting out of it. He longs to come alive to God in it. So maybe take some time, find some space this week to reflect on David's words from Psalm 63. And know that I'll be praying those words over you as well. God bless you.